Okay, one more time on this thrust tube installation. It's a little bit on the tricky side, isn't it? Anyway, okay, so this is for real. Building my model. So the thrust tube is the way I want it. The wiring is done. I've just temporarily pulled the servos out. I've actually taped off all my wires. So I'm going to actually install this. So I can pull it back a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to use hot glue just because it works real good. So a little smush over here. Like I said, a little smush over on this side. I'm trying to get it into that seam. Push on the front. And then I just push my tube. Get everything kind of lined up here on the back because there is some wiggle. And then hold it. Now if you're really brave with hot glue, then my fingers are probably in the way. Take your finger, wet it, and a wet finger, make sure it's good and wet, and you can just draw a bead. And then you just got to hold it. Wait for that hot glue to set up. Again, weight's kind of important. We don't want a lot of hot glue all over the place. Stuff is heavy. The hot glue is great because it grabs multiple different surfaces. Like it'll grab this plastic tube, it'll stick to the EDF motor, and it'll stick to Depron really nice, and it's also easy to remove. So I like using hot glue. You just got to don't get carried away with the weight. So there, we're in. We can do the same thing like I said with the servos. Make sure you got your left and right. Obviously I mounted them this way, so we'll just do that. And there is a front and back on these, and the wires should be going out the front because that's where we need to go. If you have the wires going the other way, you're just wasting space. So to hot glue these in, a little tip and trick, and I don't need to lay this on its side anymore, so I can go ahead and do this. Like I said, if you glue in there, you'll never get the damn thing out. But if you just put a blob of hot glue where the screws would normally go, and then just kind of go like that. And then, like I said, hot finger, and that is all you need to hold them in. Screw is in the servo hole. Flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. Again, just a little bit of hot glue. Smush it, push it. Hey, there's a rhyme, and the screws in. Smush it and push it. So there. So I'm completed. My receiver's mounted. I taped off my lines. You can see I got to go across. That's okay. Mark has left 2 little notches here. When we glue the wing on, it's important these wires are in the notch, and make sure you don't glue the wires to the airplane or you'll never get the servos out again. And again, my speed control's mounted. I could get a little fancier with this. I could tape that off, get it nice and flush. We'll maybe think about that. Make sure your bullet connectors can't touch one another or you'll get a short circuit. And again, make sure it's in the right direction, which I've already done. So the next thing I got to do is I still got to finish this up. So I'm actually going to get the foam safe CA out this time just because I'm impatient. It works, and foam safe CA is great for this. I will line it up. I'll put a drop of foam safe CA on either side, and then I'll give it a little squirt with kicker. The important thing you got to remember is that this goes on top, and we want that tube up flush. We want this foam, everything kind of up flush. Yeah, it's 100 times easier to build things when you're not yapping on the camera. Okay, so let's see if we can see that. Yes, you can. A little bit of hot glue, a little bit of hot glue, a little bit of hot glue, and then this was installed with foam safe kicker, foam safe CA and kicker. You can see, like it's not nice, right? We got sanding to do, and that's okay. This is all sand to fit, and that's kind of the whole point. This, though, needs to be higher, because don't forget, this fits on here like this. So you can see that's not even quite perfect, but that's okay too. We're going to sand that down and make that all pretty. That's like the last step. Again, wing's not on. Not even going to talk about the wing yet. We got more work to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera down, and I'm going to sand this because it is attached. And this is why I did it, so that I can set it down like so and work on it. And you can see it looks really horrible right now, but once I sand that, it's going to look real pretty. So hang on, I'll be right back. I think I can sand in real time. Well, let's try. So again, your $4 sanding block. We got it curves this way and curves this way. So all I'm going to do is, now with Depron, you got to be real careful when you're sanding. It does actually have grain, and I should actually get this out of the way for this part. This is okay. but you got to be careful. I like to push in. If you pull out, you're going to break the glue joint. So when I'm sanding, you can see that, yeah, I just kind of try to ever so gently push like that. Not a lot of pressure, holding it gently, very delicate foam. And I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to get the sides all lined up first. I'll cut in all my sides, get everything angled. Then I'm going to make it smooth. And if you look on the fuse, you'll see that it's rounded a little bit up here, but towards the back it's not rounded at all. And that is on purpose because I left it so that you can decide how much rounding. And the way I normally round a Depron edge is I do a 45 first, right? I'll do a 45. And then once I have what I think is the right radius, then I'll just smooth it this side, smooth it this side. Try not to sand here because you're just going to scratch it all to shit. What you really want to do is just get that edge. And it's really just about making it look a little bit better. Rounded edges on Depron do tend to last a little longer. So now this time I am going to shut the camera off so I can do this and concentrate on what I'm doing. Yeah, maybe just the quickest video on how I'm getting these edges. So you can see that there's this curve here. So I'm just trying to ever so gently get that curve. I don't make things round. So I've got all the shape that I want. So Depron sand's real easy. Take your time, there's no need to rush. And again, same thing here. I kind of want that angle. So I'll just put my finger in there. I'm kind of putting a little more pressure when I push than when I pull. If you put pressure when you pull, you'll just rip the part off. I really don't like foam fist here. So we want it flush on the bottom. There's nothing else to add here. You just keep going until you think it's the way that you like it. So flush. Oh, a little bit more work to do here. And don't forget, you got to have this lip. Don't sand that off. There's a part that goes on there. So I'm just using the contour of the model. Right, okay. So now that I got all the profile that I like, now I'm going to get rid of this sharp edge. I'm going to smooth that out. You don't need to see it. But again, okay, I'll show you. It's a 45. I sand off a 45 first. I'll just show you real quick what I'm talking about. Draw it down the fuse a little bit. So you can see I got a little bit of a 45 going there. Get it the way you want it. Don't sand off much. We don't want to get into the structure. And then all I do, very lightly, I just round it off. And again, it's whatever look you want, because the next thing we're probably going to do is we're going to paint this. So now I've got this smoother edge here. I've got a sharp edge here. I'll smooth it. Leave these ones sharp. Obviously, that's where the wing saddle goes. And don't touch this. You can see I got a little too close with the hot melt glue gun. Very delicate foam. It's been a long time since I've dealt with foam. If you want to sand this edge so that you have a round edge here, I actually don't recommend that. Aerodynamically, by the way, sharp edges on trailing edges are better for aerodynamic efficiency. So leave this edge sharp if you can. That way the arrow goes and it just falls right off. You get separation. All right. Stand by. Okay, so I'm done sanding. I've sanded all the way. You know, I sanded for you to about here. So I've just kind of finished it. It's not much of a curve, you can kind of see. It's just soften the edge. The real Avro Arrow, the radius, I think, was like, you know, half a foot, 6 inches, something like that. So it's not a big radius. And you don't want to get into sanding into this because that's your structure, and you'll end up breaking the back. So, like I said, I've got methyl hydrate always in the shop. And now I'm going to get rid of all this dust. Give her a wipe. Got my gloves on. These are vinyl decals. They're okay. You can wipe them. Do not put methyl hydrate alcohol on anything that's already painted because you'll pull the paint off. I don't think I mentioned that before. My bad. But I'm going to do some taping and some marking here because I'm going to tell you right now, this is 100 times easier to paint in pieces than it is when it's fully assembled. So I know that I'm going to have, well, actually we're not going to paint because we have a little more sanding to do on the top. But it would be easier right now to paint this tail cone black. To paint all of this black right now would be way easier. but we do got a little more sanding to do up on the top, so we'll probably wait. But that's what she should look like. You can see I'm getting dirty here. Just give that another little clean, alcohol. You can see how quickly, just because I pulled it off the cloth and I was on the wood table, it just picks up every little bit of dirt. So there, that's what the tail end should look like. Okay, so I've checked my motors, my servos are now glued in, I've taped off my lines, my receiver is Velcroed, my speed control is Velcroed. Oh, and one more thing, just about every kit, or pardon me, every speed control that I've seen, the leads are long enough to make it from the motor back here to where the battery goes. So you won't have to extend it. This is not an extension, I just had to change the connector and that's where I cut it. You won't have to worry about capacitors or any of that stuff, everything is good. And that's progressing very, very nicely. What's next?